Good evening and welcome to the November 20th, 2013 Town Board meeting, and I'll officially call this meeting to order. And I would ask that you please rise for the pledge, and then after the pledge, if you would please remain standing for a moment. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Since our last meeting, another very prominent member of our community has passed, Bob Gentle, Gentle's Farm Market on Penfield Road. And so I would ask, in remembrance of Mr. Gentle and his family, a longtime Rotarian, Paul Harris Fellow, and an individual that gave so much to this community, and I would ask that we have a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you. I would ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Cole?
Here.
LaFountain?
Here.
Metzler?
Here.
Moore?
Absent.
He's absent. Quinn?
Here. Okay, thank you. We'll move right into our communications and announcements. And this evening we have a couple of special guests, Kathy Cummins and Frank Cardella, from our Penfield Ecumenical Food Shelf. So my brain today has been just a half a kilter off, so I'll apologize. So I would invite both Kathy and Frank to come forward and talk about something that I know is very near and dear to many people in this community, in a service that is so well received in this community as our food shelf. So welcome.
Thank you, and thank you very much for inviting us this evening. We appreciate any chance that we can to update you and let you know what's going on with the food shelf. We have had a tremendous outpouring of support from the community in recent months. Scouts, schools, we even had a 13-year-old birthday party, and they, in lieu of gifts, brought food over to the food shelf. And we have another one coming up on the 13th. Another little girl is having a birthday party, and in lieu of gifts, they'll be bringing food to us. New businesses are supporting us, so we're really feeling a lot of love from the community here. We want to let you know that we do have our Thanksgiving distribution this coming Saturday, and Fran will update you on the numbers, the increased numbers that we're seeing there. Our annual Cares and Shares program will be starting up. The trees will be going up, the giving trees will be going up at the community center and at the YMCA with gift tags for the children of the food shelf clients 17 and under. We will have those up. Folks can take a tag off the tree, go purchase the gift, wrap it, put the tag back on the top as it is, the tag is coded so we know which family it goes to, and bring it back by the 18th of December. We'll distribute Cares and Shares on Saturday, December 21st. Big Trail is going to be doing their big grocery cart wars the week of the 9th of December, and that is by far our largest food drive that we receive food from. So that's going to be wonderful. We're really looking forward to see which house wins the challenge. And we continue to stress the Adopt a Shelf program. I believe we have 16 new groups and families that have adopted shelves, so that's really going very well. We're pleased with that. If you'd like any more information, we encourage you to check out our website, and also if you're on Facebook, to like us on Facebook. We keep that updated on a regular basis. So, do you have any questions or?
Just one question, Fran and Kathy, and that is that it's always great to receive the donations, but I assume you also accept any financial donations as well.
Yes, and there will be an appeal letter going out, but we gladly take cash or checks, and I think we have a PayPal. We have a PayPal link on our website, and I believe we'll be registered for Rock the Day. which is
Great.
in December. So, well, great.
Excellent, excellent.
And Fran, would you like to
I
say?
actually have two questions. One, if anyone's interested in volunteering, how do they go about doing that?
They would email us at penfieldfoodshelf@gmail.com.
Also, are there any high-need items right now? I know often we will hear through various groups certain things you're looking for that you might want to let the folks who might be watching know.
We do post on our website things like laundry soap, dish detergent, salad dressings, mayo,
Mustard and ketchup.
ketchup and mustard, all those items we've been low on. I think we're okay right now. And then we will get the Bay Trail food. That'll be great. But our website, we try to keep that updated. And Fran's going to talk a little bit about the numbers.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I'd also like to thank the board for this opportunity to be here tonight, so thank you very much.
You're welcome, you're welcome anytime.
Well, thank you.
You know, and certainly encourage on some of those key dates, you know, Thanksgiving and the Christmas holidays. But if you're in need from time to time of some items and you want to come and make an appeal, you're always welcome to come and spend a couple of minutes and get some coverage through PCTV.
Great.
Thank you so
Yep.
much.
Keep that in mind.
Last month, we were here briefly, and we inadvertently omitted mentioning the kindness of two wonderful friends of the Penfield Food Shelf. So I want to make very sure this evening that I put a great thank you to Tim Murphy and Mike Rashetsky, who installed a new kitchen floor for us in September. We had a plywood floor down prior to that, and it didn't look very pretty. So we are very happy to have that new kitchen floor installed. So we're very thankful to both those gentlemen. I want to talk very briefly about numbers. Our numbers are increasing dramatically, and we expect that we may see even further increases. To give you some sort of an idea, at this time, about a year ago, our non-perishable room, where our folks come through every other month, we were serving 8 or 9 families a week in that particular room. This year, recently, in the last several weeks, it's been up to 14. Today it was 16. So that's a really dramatic increase. Total families that we're looking at per week, about a year ago, we were looking at roughly an average of 65 families a week between both rooms, folks that were coming through the food shelf. This year, we're up to about 80, and that number's increasing. We've been seeing 3 or 4 families sometimes per week, new families coming through. Thanksgiving distribution, 1 year ago, we served about 90 families Thanksgiving meals. This Saturday, we'll be looking at probably close to about 130, so a dramatic increase. But this community, the good news is that this community has been tremendously supportive of all of our initiatives, and we really are confident that even with these huge increases in numbers, that we're going to be able to serve these folks because of the support of the community. So I want to thank the community very much for making it possible for us to make sure that we take care of the poor in our community. FoodLink, they visited us last September briefly, an informal visit. There will be a formal, they'll be coming through and actually doing an assessment of where they're at, where we're at, because we will be partnering with FoodLink in the very near future. I want to mention one particular feature that will be coming. We're hoping it will be coming. We'll need to be contacting you folks to make sure this is a possibility, and we'll be doing that after the first of the year. But FoodLink is offering us the option of bringing a mobile food cupboard that they operate into the community. And they said possibly as often as every other month. And it would not be just open to people who are registered with the Penfield Ecumenical Food Shelf. It would simply be open to those who are in need. So we will be contacting you to see if we can work out the logistics of making that happen, but that's an exciting opportunity, I think, that will be able to serve many of the people in our community. Also, Paula, to mention specific items that you asked about. When critical need for specific items does occur, we try to go to Facebook and post that. So if folks would check Facebook on a regular basis, they will appear there.
Good.
thank you so very much for this chance.
So two more items from both of you. One, if you would give us your email address again.
Sure.
And a phone number. I think both of those would be very helpful that we could in fact, continue to, replay as part of our ongoing replay of the meeting for this evening. So, if you
Sure.
would.
And, go ahead, Kathy, with the,
The email is penfieldfoodshelf@gmail.com. And the number,
I'm gonna,
234
0799.
0799.
I do want to say, though, that all that information is on our website. So if folks simply remember to go to the Penfield Ecumenical Foodshelf.org, it's all there. So you can't go wrong.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you so very much.
As always, thank you. Good luck this coming Saturday, and then I know it's that Saturday before Christmas that you have
That's right.
again, and so good luck with that. Certainly, what you do for the community, the volunteer hours that all of your team puts in, and I think it's just important to underscore, that it's an all-volunteer group that comes together on a weekly basis, assembles everything, does a lot of the legwork, and so we're just very fortunate that we've got this resource. And I continue to be delighted that you're at the location that you are. That gives you a lot more space, a lot more accessibility, and so I'm glad that that is working out, and the facility is really, is really popped with the new paint and the work that's gone on inside and outside. So our hats are off to everyone that volunteers and supports the food shelf.
Thank you. I just want to mention, too, that we spoke about that today, Tony, that if it were not for the town making our new home available to us, I don't think that we could serve as many folks as we need to serve in our past location. So thank you so very much.
It was a
Right,
great
it's the-
partnership, and it sounds like it happened right at the right time.
That's right.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, fortunate the way it worked out, but unfortunate that we have
the
as
need
many
exists.
needs as we do. So, but thank you, and have a
Thank
great
you.
holiday season yourself.
Same to you.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's continue on, and I'll ask our town clerk to begin.
Thank you. If you're planning to leave the county for the winter season, please make sure you contact our tax department with a forwarding address or email address so that they can send you a 2014 town and county tax bill. It can take up to 30 days for the bills to be forwarded. The bills will be mailed on December 31st, 2013. And you may contact the tax department at 340-8625 or email our tax receiver at receivertaxes@penfield.org with your information. Thank you.
Mr. Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, everyone. Just a few announcements. With the winter and holiday season upon us, with more activity in the home, with decorations and family activities, please be mindful for increased safety. For more tips, safety tips, please visit www.nfpa.org. Also, Penfield Recreation has again made direct communication with Santa's Workshop, North Pole, USA. Children can send their letters to Santa Claus in care of Penfield Recreation. We will make sure Santa reads your letters and returns a personal reply before Christmas. All letters must be postmarked no later than December 4th. Please be sure to include your return address. For more information, please contact Penfield Recreation at 340-8655. Letters may be sent to Santa Claus, care of Penfield Recreation, 1985 Baird Road, Penfield, New York, 14526. And lastly, just a quick reminder that winter hours are now in effect for Penfield roads through April 1st. Please no parking on roads overnight to ensure safety for plowing and other traffic-related matters. Thank you very much.
Sounds like you have just a short amount of time to put on a little extra weight to go with those whiskers there for that special person visiting the community center. All right, Mrs.
I am
Messler.
white.
I have just one announcement tonight on a date that many residents eagerly anticipate every year, the opening of rental reservations for our lodges. The rental of Harris Whalen Lodge or Dolomite Lodge for 2014 Reservations will begin on Wednesday, December 4th at 10:30 a.m. You may sign up and reserve a spot at the lodge online at penfieldrec.org or in person at the Recreation Office. You will need a username and password in order to reserve the lodge online. Please make sure you set this up ahead of time with the Rec Office if you don't already have one. Again, December 4th at 10:30 a.m. is the start date to go online or in person and register to reserve our lodges for next year. That's all I have today.
I have two items. A reminder that our town offices will be closed next Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving, and we'll open up again that following Monday, so Thursday and Friday of next week. As I understand it, the DMV will continue to operate as normal on Tuesday, so Tuesday DMV will be here. My last announcement is with regards to our friends at the Shepherd Home. I am made aware by Karen Smith and Tracy Dovey, who are co-hosting the third annual Wings of Light Luminary display at the Shepherd Home on Monday, December 16th, from 5 to 8 p.m. right on their grounds. And luminaries are the white bags with a candle inside, and once they're lit, to create a glowing nighttime display during the holiday season. And what the Shepherd Home does is that they list on every bag, and they make it very personal with the name of the person that you wish to honor or memorialize. For more details, you can log on at shepherdhome.org, shepherdhome.org, and you can order right through their website. You can stop off at the Shepherd Home. This is a great event, and each year continues to grow. So we look forward to that again on December 16th from 5 to 8 p.m. Linda?
Talking about Christmas, Penfield Recreation will hold its annual holiday celebration and Santa all-you-can-eat pancake dinner on Friday, December 6th, Penfield Community Center, 1985 Baird Road, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This event will also include Santa's all-you-can-eat pancake dinner. Penfield families are invited to enjoy free Christmas-themed crafts and games, special visitors from the North Pole, pictures with Santa, a musical performance by Mike Cornish, Santa's all-you-can-eat pancake dinner. It starts at 6. Advance tickets are now on sale at $4 a person or $10 a family. Tickets may be purchased at Penfield Recreation or by calling 340-8655. Tickets will also be available at the door for $6 per person and $12 per family. And we also have 2 awards that our rec department has. I shall show this. It's the Genesee Valley Recreation and Park Society Award for Special Publications and Marketing Award, Class 2, for their Penfield Recreation Department website. So our crew that did the website at Penfield Recreation received this award. And then the second award is from them is the Exceptional Program Award presented for the DARE program, the one that Pam Mount runs with the education for the seniors and so on. Daytime Education and Recreation, Town of Penfield Recreation 2013 award. So congratulations to our Recreation Department for those 2 outstanding awards.
Excellent.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Linda. Mr. Horowitz, anything this evening, sir?
Nothing further this
Okay,
evening.
very good. We'll move next on to public participation. There are 2 opportunities for public participation now and again at the end of the meeting. Tonight, I'll say, just based on the number of resolutions, the difference between the first one and the second one might be about 5 minutes. So you can take your pick. You can do it one of 3 ways here if you're in the auditorium. You can call in at 340-8771, or you can log on at penfield.org. And with that, Amy, do you have anyone that has signed up?
I do. Calvin Freeler.
And Calvin, would you like to go now or at the end? At the end. Okay, very
Okay.
good, sir. No one else you have?
I do not.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board for any matter? Jerry? Come right up and just give your name and your address if you would, please.
My name is Gerald Russ. I live at 101 Heather Drive in Penfield. I'm a 30-year Penfield resident, and I am become a more active participant in the issues that involve our town. I am a member of I'm an officer of the Penfield Democratic Committee, and I participated to a great deal in the past campaign. And I think I expressed I expressed the sentiments of the committee in congratulating Amy and Paula and Tony and Andy for a hard campaign and well-deserved victory. And we're proud of the fact that we feel that we conducted the campaign on a high level, and that and we thank you for your years of service to the town. One thing that I had wanted to say is that one of the things we resolved to do, the issues that we've raised and the initiatives that we have, even though that we are the opposition, these will not go away. We hope that you will be welcome, that you will welcome resolutions that we have come up with, to carry forth these resolutions during the next term. And as I had indicated, we'll be here. We'll be watching.
Would expect nothing less.
Yes, okay. But again, thank you again. It's,
Thank you for coming out, Jerry. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. Seeing no other public at this point, we'll move on to additions, deletions. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda tonight?
Mr. Supervisor, I would like to make a motion that we withdraw resolutions 210 and 211 from tonight's agenda.
I would second that. Thank you. So noted that they will be withdrawn. We'll move then on to our minutes. We have the October 16th, 2013 minutes before us. Would entertain a motion of approval of those minutes.
I move that the October 16th, 2013 minutes be approved.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, I would ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Next item is petitions, and I'd ask the clerk to read the information for the petition we received since our last meeting.
We received a petition signed by 12 residents protesting the large storage container placed in the backyard of a Triple Diamond Way property that backs up to 1330 Hatch Road. They would like the container relocated or removed from the area.
Thank you very much. So the next step with this is the board will have our code enforcement officer review that to make sure that there are not any code violations, and then we'll bring that back to the board at a work session, which will be at our December 11th will be our next work session. Okay, are any other petitions that were received by the board, clerk, or town attorney? Okay, seeing none, we'll move right into resolutions by function, please.
2013 budget amendments, 2014 sewer projects.
Moved.
Second?
This is a budget amendment with respect to our 2014 sewer projects. During 2013, the town board approved the proposal for engineering services from MRB Group relating to 2014 sewer improvement projects by the town board resolution 13T121 of May 15, 2013. The town board desires to have an up-to-date budget in relation to current income and expenditures. So be it resolved that the following 2013 budget amendment be approved as follows. General fund revenues description, intra-fund revenues from capital account increase of $125,000 with the revised budget of $125,000. General fund appropriations, 2014 sewer project engineering, increase $125,000, revised budget $125,000.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. 2013 budget transfers, salaries.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas merit raises and other adjustments were approved for salaries during 2013, and whereas the town board desires to have an up-to-date budget in relation to current income and expenditures. Now be it therefore resolved that the following 2013 budget transfers be approved. General fund appropriations, Assessors Department to Building Inspectors, $28,200 and $41,500. Engineering Department to Planning Department, $15,800. Parks Department to History Room and Cable TV in an assorted number. The total value is $96,410 for all general fund appropriations.
Discussion. So by way of a little bit of explanation, we, from time to time, typically at the end of the year, we need to make these types of adjustments. That's not increasing the budget. It's essentially all of our line items have to match up. And in some cases, we have some line items that spend less money, some that may spend more money, and we make some transfers between those. But at the end of the day, we have to have a balanced budget consistent with what was adopted in the calendar year this year, 2013. With that, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Update to Parks Recreation Facilities Fee Schedule Policy.
So moved.
Second.
This resolution amends last month's resolution that we passed, 207. We adopted it, and we're going to amend Chaney Philbrook Park, Veterans Memorial Park Open Shelters, the fee, resident $22, $19 self-service online reservation, replaced with the following, $22 with $19.80 self-service online reservation.
Okay, thank you. Discussion on that? Seeing no discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Thank you. We'll move on to old business. Any old business to come before the board this evening? Seeing none. Any new business to come before the board this evening? Again, seeing none. This will then bring us to our second public participation. And I think, Calvin, unless some things have changed, you are first up.
Calvin Freeler, 15 Old Westfall Drive. So I have some handouts here,
Thank you.
and there's no way to really display them for the notes, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So can the camera pick up on these if I put them on the board?
We can put them on the board, certainly, we can try to, you can try to do that. I'm
All right.
not going to guarantee 100% for that, Calvin.
No problem. It'll show up in the meeting minutes though, right?
It will show up in the meeting minutes, that is correct.
Okay, good. So, let's see, I'll put another one up. So this pertains to the sanitary sewer Parkview Drive, White Village Drive.
So Calvin, if I could interrupt you before you get started.
Yeah.
There should be a handheld mic right on the top or just in the shelf, and just give it a tap.
I think it's working.
There you go. If, that way, if you want to wander a little bit, we still capture that information.
Okay, very good.
All right, good.
Okay, so something that's bothered me for a while, and I mentioned it in the last meeting we had on the sewers, was the cost. So I went through, and if we have a loan amount of 2.44 million, I just used there's a payment function in Excel, and you can figure out what that'll work out to over 20 years. And that's 568 million over the course of that time. There's 175 parcels, so that works out to $20,388, and that's just to bring sewer access in front of these homes. Are there any questions on that point? Okay. So then there's a private portion if people do want to connect in the neighborhood. And I think this was covered the last time, but basically it's $3,500 to do the work, that's an estimate, and then the $500 connection fee. And so the total private investment would be $4,000. So I'm going to change slides here for a second, if you'll bear with me. Okay, so the sanitary sewer cost summary then is about $24,400 per home. Now, I made some phone contact with different companies that do tanks and leach fields, and those estimates are shown over to the right, and those are on the high side. I picked the highest numbers they gave me. Septic tank replacement, about $3,500. New leach lines, $4,500, total $8,000. So there's quite a disparity between the two options. Now, the area that I live in is essentially a sand bank. I've seen a ditch that someone dug. They're going to, I think they're going to try and raise fish or something in it, but it was 7 feet deep. And it was pure white sand. And I said, wow, this is like ideal filtration right here. Okay, so if you're in a situation where over rock or bedrock, I can understand why septics are no good. This seems like the ideal location for septics. And as I mentioned, quite a price disparity. So then one more, actually a couple more slides. Okay, so what that chart shows is basically using the sewer system, when do these two investments sort of meet? And the assumption here for the septic is basically that someone gets their septic pumped every 2 or 3 years, and I think that's $250. I don't remember the exact numbers. But it's in that neighborhood. And they never really intersect because it shows them intersecting after 100 years, but by that time the sewer will need more work. And so, yet again, it doesn't economically look to pay off. So the last two sheets are essentially my conclusions and challenge to the board. Given the large disparity of the cost for the two options, I really think that it needs a stronger business case or justification that distinctly points out the reasons for going forward if we have about a 3x cost difference. And I think that needs to include visible commitments from people along the route actually connecting. Right now they've said, sure, we'd like it, but they aren't saying they're going to connect. And I'd hate to see us spend this kind of money and not see the subscription rate, I would refer to it as, that I think we should have for that sort of investment. So I think what needs to happen, in my opinion, is that to do a better job of that, better define who actually would sign up and actually come up with a better supporting case for why this is being done. And that in a nutshell is it. I mean, so if it's environmental, if whatever it is, but right now there's just such a big difference. It's not clear what the benefits really are to the overall taxpayer population that will be funding this.
So just a couple of comments, and again, this is just more from information than anything else. Certainly, there is a process that we take a look at this. And if we were to submit this to the state audit and control for $20,000, I think you said $20,388, but let's call it $20,000. State audit and control would push it back to the town because essentially they have some rules and some guidelines as it relates to what you can push down to the taxpayer. And the last I checked, it was in that neighborhood of about $800 to $825 on an annual basis that you could push down to them. So one of the things that this board, not this board currently sitting here, but the town board back in the 90s, they took a look at two components. They took a look at those subdivisions and those sewers in the town and the age of those, and they took a look at those parts of the town that were on septic systems and where there was failure taking place in those septic systems. And the board at the time, back in the 90s, essentially said, you know what, we're going to have this this district that's going to cover the entire town, because at some point, the older subdivisions are going to need some work, and that's going to cost a lot of money, and being able to push that down to the taxpayer for that specific area probably will not fly with out of control in many cases. And then in cases where there are these septic systems and the potential need because of failing systems and other concerns, that there's going to be a need to put in some sewers. So this town-wide district and then subsequent extensions to the district was formed, and the idea of that was to knock off those high costs either to the old or the new as you went through. And so another component of that is that when we put in subdivisions today, with the exception of some onesie, twosie out in East Penfield where you have large lots, typically 2 to 5 acre minimums. For the most part, any development that goes in, the developer puts in the sewers and then dedicates them to the town. So as we took a look at that, again, the idea was to level that off and to provide as much sanitary sewer coverage to the town as we could, to help minimize some of those either failing systems, old systems, and things like that. So while your 20,000, you know, if you divide it by your 171 parcels solely, but you're really dividing that amount across the district, which has upwards of 10 or 12,000. So that's a way to help that on both ends of the equation. So that's by way of a little history. I'm not saying that that's something that you should you know, take and accept and like and what have you. But the board at the time, and I happened to be sitting on the town board at the time, thought that was the best way to go to provide the most number of our residents sewers at an affordable price.
Okay, I'd like to respond.
So.
Okay, so the logic there is that spread over a large number of people, it's okay to maybe make a business decision that, I think they're two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, there should be a business case, and then how you pay for it is a separate thing. You're talking about how you pay for it. I'm
Right.
talking about, does it make sense in the first place? So there is a place for government to do things for others, but not in every place. For example, if a roof fails, we're not going to have a fund to replace roofs on houses. I know they're expensive. Septic systems probably could fall into the same area, except I know that there was a pollution problem back in the 70s and that the sewer system was a way to resolve that. This is sort of a unique geographical area, though, in that it's kind of ideal. And so in the ideal case, now I think it falls back into the business case situation. But the business case always works because you could say, well, if we have pollution, there's a huge cost to that, so therefore it's worth $20,000 to take care of that problem. That hasn't been shown. And so I haven't seen that. And I know there may have been a plan, but we should still be rational about why we do things. So again, separate the two. Yeah, I know it could be spread over a lot of people, and therefore this group won't see the costs, but is it an efficient use of tax dollars is really the question I'm getting to. And I would like to see the board do a better job of that before we go ahead. I think it's a good thing to do in every public works case.
And we certainly look at a lot of factors. I mean, one of the other factors in this particular case, you had mentioned early on in your comments that this is an area that has a lot of sand. And one would think that with a lot of sand that you would typically not have a lot of failures. We do have a lot of failures, you know, in and around this particular area or this particular district that have been reported to us by the health department. And so that was another determining factor, because the numbers were, again, for an area that had what you might consider, a good soil type to be able to drain and filter, to have such a high number, which was in the, and don't hold me to this, I can just reconfirm it, but it was in the high 20s, if I recall correctly, that we had a number of failures. And so the concern by the health department was, what are some of those alternatives that we could take a look at? And again, that got us taking a look at the fact that our commitment of trying to sewer as many of the parcels as we reasonably could, based on, certainly cost is a factor, amount of failures is a factor, but to have the district, in this case, this particular district, which I believe is District 56, bear the cost solely of bringing sewers, you would never see that. And so consequently, it is a way for the community to support this public works project, to offer that. So I understand what you're saying, certainly, and we have to take a look at all of those factors as we go through. We also have to take a look at, what is the good, sometimes of the residents of the town as well.
Okay, so for those failures, were they I assume they were the older construction homes?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to tell you. I mean, I can tell you. I can't tell you right now off the top of my head, Calvin. I'm certainly would sit down with you and Mark DeFrancesco and myself, and we could take a look at that. But I think you'll find, if I'm not mistaken, I think there was even a failure up on Old Westfall Circle.
There was. I know the person.
So, and again, you can argue that if they had done something different, better, maintenance, whatever the case was, you might argue that, they may not have had the failure, but,
I talked to the person. We think it was an improper installation.
so, go
We
ahead.
think it was an improper, I know the party. We think it was an improper installation.
Got it.
Yeah, and I know there have been some other failures. The older boxes will fail. The more modern ones will last a lot longer, so. And there have been, as you say, failures, but they've been repaired.
Right.
So I do think the part about finding out who's going to connect is still relevant, though.
Okay.
We don't want to do a white elephant. I mean, it's nice that they say they want it, but are they actually going to do it? You don't want to spend that kind of money and have 10 connections. You would agree?
I would agree.
Do you think there'll be any effort to check that out?
What I'll say is that, based on the petition process that we had, and more than 70% of the residents asking for the sewers, history shows us that you then have a very high connection rate. When you have those people that sign on the dotted line saying that we want sewers, you tend to see a very high connection rate. And connection rate is for a host of different reasons. One, it addresses any problems, failures, anything like that, so that I don't have to update the system and put an additional X number of $1,000 in to the system. I'd rather put that same amount into connection and not have to worry about it. You'll hear residents say that it certainly helps with their overall resale value of the homes in their area. So there's a number of reasons that people do connect. A lot of folks, just because they don't pay attention or want to take the time to do the maintenance, whereas you might be, religiously every 2 years pumping your system, going through and doing the right things, maybe not having your garbage disposal connected to it. You may be doing all the right things. There's many people that necessarily don't do all the right things either. So we certainly, based on some data that Mark DeFrancesco has gathered, we can, get a sense of the number of folks that, out of that 171 plus or minus in that district. It's either, I want to say it's 181, but.
175.
Yeah, 175,
believe.
whatever. So we can get a sense of what that percentage is.
Calvin, are you getting a sense from your neighbors, the 70% of your neighbors who supported this throughout, that they are now saying they're not going to connect?
All of the ones that I won't say all of them. I think there's one that said they would like to see the sewer. I haven't heard any say they're going to connect, actually. I've heard some comments that said they resent it actually coming through and they don't need it. That was more on Old Westfall, but those are more modern structures. One person was really kind of angry. They said, well, this is more government intervention.
Because we certainly, again, we had, as you know, we had an exhaustive survey process, even our sewer superintendent going door to door in your
Right.
neighborhood to get responses from people. And I gathered from the inquiries and questions that I had both personally and that we had publicly, people were asking more detailed questions about, well, what happens after the hookup? That leads me to believe that they were going to hook up. That's why I just wondered if you had a sense, have you talked to your neighbors?
I have not gone and done a real survey, just informal just talk on occasion. I'm not coming across a whole lot of them that are very gung-ho about it, actually.
So how will you reconcile the 70% wanting it then?
I don't reconcile
It might
it.
just be where you are, in your immediate area maybe, that,
I make no attempt to reconcile it. I just report what I've heard. I didn't go get the 70%, so I mean, if I had that part of the equation where I actually went and got those commitments, then I could better do that, because I could go to those that said, yeah, I want it, and say, well, why don't you want it now? But I didn't do that part of it. So at any rate, just to summarize my understanding, based on other experiences, that's how we feel we're going to get a certain connection rate. We don't know what I don't know what the number is. I mean, if it's going to be half or 10%. So I still really think that would be a good thing to know, and I just do. And I guess the other part was you said the health department would like this to occur? Is that
Well,
implied?
their sensitivity is that, you know, when you have a subdivision of, again, let's call it 175 homes, when you have, you know, more than a quarter of those homes are experiencing failures, for whatever reason those failures are, you know, the health department, you know, comes back and says, okay, so, you know, what are you guys doing? Have you thought about this and what have you? And this has been part of our plans and programs. I mean, if I date back, you know, into the 90s, and we went through kind of a priority list of different projects for updating sewers, expanding sewers, or adding new sewers. You know, this has been on the list since that time. And the thing that I think this board has wrestled with, and again, when I say this board, the town board, has wrestled with over time is that how do we make sure that we are doing the projects addressing the priorities, so that where we're having biggest problems, most failures, those types of things, and doing it in a way that we're prioritizing, and then working towards also making sure we're not breaking the bank either. And one of the reasons why this project was slated to be on the docket for construction roughly 2 years ago, and it was my request or appeal or some information that I provided the board to say, you know what, certainly we're experiencing some number of failures, but because of the cost of this and the amount of debt that we have, I encourage the board to consider holding this off for a couple of years and give us a time to retire some of our other debts, so that when we went with this project ultimately, you didn't see a big spike up, and you kept, you know, we kept things fairly flat. And the board recognized that concern, but I'll also say, and the board members can speak for themselves, they were also very concerned about the number of failures that were starting to occur, you know, in that area as well. So since the time we held it off until now, there has been a few more failures that have occurred.
Okay, my final thought. Obviously, we'll get failures. That's why you repair them. I mean, everything breaks, so that's not a shock to me. I'm not sure why that would really be a shock to the health department or a big cause for concern, as long as they're remediated in a timely manner. I still think the business case question is there, and that it's vastly expensive for the number of properties being served. Those are my final thoughts. And I mean, if it was on the order of 10 or 15,000, that would make a lot more sense. 20 20.4 for just access for it to go by is huge. That's a lot of money, in my opinion, for what's being achieved compared to the alternative.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for the materials as well.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the board on any item? Okay. Seeing none, the meeting of November 20th, 2013 is hereby adjourned. I'd like to wish our viewing audience happy Thanksgiving, very safe and healthy happy Thanksgiving, and we look forward to seeing you in December. Thank you very much, PCTV.